What the fuck is a reboot?
A reboot, boys, is when Hollywood wants to make a lot of money without the hassle of creating a new movie. So they take an old movie and change just enough to make you pay for the same shit all over again.
Hey, welcome to Frame for Frame. I am Cube's fan, Michael Cotton, and my co-host is Tom Lil Yumper. I don't know, you've got Yump in the thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's either way, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, Tom Garcia, Lil Yumper, the man behind the penguin imprints, the sadistic penguins, all the things that he's doing.
Yeah,
how's it going, man?
I'm head of too many things. It's going well, man. Going well. The fact that you said Tom, when you say Tom, it's funny because whenever Danny mentions me Tom on, like in general, I'm just like, oh, it's weird. Nobody ever called. Everybody I know usually calls me that from the Twitterverse calls me Yump, but it's just weird when you guys call me Tom. I just laugh.
Is it Tom? Is it Thomas? I have no idea.
It's Thomas, but I hate Thomas.
Yeah.
I have the most common name known to a white man with Thomas and Mexican in Garcia.
Yeah. Well, mine's Michael, so that's not,
Yeah, but your last name's Cotton. It's something different. Mine's is like Tom Garcia. Like, I looked up my name the other day, and like my first name is like in the top 5 of the most common names. My last name is the most common Mexican name.
Yeah. But my name is weird though, because even though it's like this like super simple word, every time I say it, nobody believes what I'm saying. They're like, oh, well, C-A-T. I'm like, no, or C-O-T-E-N. Like they literally did. They try everything except for the word that everybody knows. You know what I mean? And then, and then there's another little thing. Like I've got my ranter shirt on. Joe sent this to me. And, just to be nice, I bought it, but it took a long time to get because it was right around the Sandberg death and they were just back ordered for all the Sandberg stuff. So, he added my name to the shirt. Not that one, this one. The problem is everybody just thinks that's what the shirt is made out of. They're just like, like nobody thinks they see the cotton on my shirt. This like doesn't ring a bell for anybody that might be my name. Like it would have been better if it was Cube's fan or something. I don't know. But yeah, it was just kind of funny when I got it and I'm like, oh yeah, cotton. Perfect.
You're cursed.
Yeah. But when I was a kid and I would be on, soccer teams, baseball teams, whatever. And I got cotton on the back of my shirt, everybody would always just kind of look at it like, that's weird. Like that's clearly polyester rayon, like the most plastic, unbreathable, stuff you could ever put on somebody's body in that jersey right now. There's no way it's cotton.
That's funny.
Yeah. But I don't know. We are not here to talk about shirts, surprisingly, or our names. We're here to talk about remakes, reboots, sequels, all of that stuff. And this time, and I got to say this time, I almost said this week, but yeah, we do this like maybe once a month because good Lord, I think we scheduled this one 4 times.
Yeah, man. Life, just like on the After Show pod, we had to cancel twice. Just life got ahead of me and a little bit of you, and then again.
And then we scheduled for Father's Day.
Yeah.
Like just not even thinking about the date. Like, oh, it's Father's. Like, oh yeah, I guess maybe we can't go chill out for 3 hours away from our kids. Now, if it was Mother's Day, the women just leave. You know, they just bail. It's cool. You know, on Father's Day, it's like Mother's Day again, almost.
Yeah. It was one of those days I was like, Cotton's like, do you want to reschedule? Like, yeah, that'd be kind of good.
Yeah,
So,
it might be good. People are trying to make breakfasts for us and all that stuff, all that great
well, not
stuff.
just that. I mean, Karma was like, I'm gonna make sure you guys don't record today, and then you said, fuck that, we're doing it.
Oh yeah, because we were supposed to record at noon today, and my power went out because for the second time in 3 weeks, a squirrel has crawled into the transformer and blew that thing up.
Only in Iowa, folks. Only in Iowa.
It's wild, and it frustrates me so bad because then I don't have power for a while. But also, it scares my dog to death because when a transformer blows, it is loud.
Oh yeah.
And then for the next like 3 hours, my dog is literally stuck to my leg. Like when I'm walking, I'm just tripping every step because she's so close to me.
Yeah, it happened to us too. Actually, somebody cut a power line over here. They were, I don't know what the hell they were doing. They were trimming some branches or something, and they cut through it, and it just like exploded. And my dog was scared shitless.
Yeah, it's loud, man.
Yeah.
So it's been fun, but we're here finally ready to talk about Superman from 1978 versus the Superman from 2025, and maybe we'll chat a little bit here and there about all the other Supermen that have come in between. But before we get going with that, we're going to start with the segment here. Coming attractions. You want to hit the button there, Yumper?
Oh, do I have a coming attraction thing?
No, it's just a first act.
Oh shit, yeah. I'm sorry, we haven't done this show in a while, guys.
We haven't done it so long. It's like, yeah, you got to remember like what it is we're doing. And I'm flying by the seat of my pants. I'm just like telling Yumper's like, yeah, Cotton's gonna tell us what to do. Oh, I need to hit buttons too.
Yeah, here we go. First act.
If elected mayor, my first act will be to kill the whole lot of you and burn your turn to cinders. I know it's on.
All right.
You just confuse me when you call it the segment. I'm like, oh shit, did I have a segment for this?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
Well, yeah. So this is the coming attractions. This is where I just go through some of the movies coming up in the next few weeks. Only the sequels, reboots, and remakes. And I ask Yumper. He has no idea which ones I'm going to ask about. He probably knows some of these, but and then we just chat to see. I really just like to see Yumper kind of get annoyed that they're remaking these movies because that's the whole reason for this podcast is that Yumper just gets annoyed having to deal with, remakes all the time. But this coming up here soon, dating this podcast, unfortunately, June 26th, Jackass, Best and Last. So first off, are you a Jackass fan? Have you watched the Jackass movies? And second, do you think this is really going to be their last?
So
they lived through it, so I'm saying no.
I have seen the first Jackass. The show I watched maybe a little bit, not really frequently when it was on MTV. And that was the last movie I saw was the first one. I will not probably be watching this film, but I will say I think this is probably going to be their last because I remember reading Johnny Knoxville can't do these stunts anymore because he has, I think he has CTE, or they told him that it's not good for his health. Yeah. So,
oh no, I think he has a colostomy bag. I think that's how bad he is at this point.
Yeah, I know it's something health related. I know Steve-O is like he's healthy now, but he's pretty messed up from drugs and whatnot from doing these stunts.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, Johnny Knoxville is a little bit older than me, I think. So he's in his like mid 50s, early to mid 50s, he cannot, all these guys are that age, they can't keep doing this. If they do, like, will they just keep doing them until they die? I don't know.
And I don't want to see that. Nobody wants to see that.
No, nobody wants to see that. And I'm like you. I watched Jackass when it was first on MTV, the show, for a minute, and then I saw the first movie on video. But that's the only one I've seen. Unless I've seen like little bits and pieces here and there that, you'll see a clip on the internet or something. But yeah, that's it. I never really got into it. Like, I thought it was really fun and cool when I saw it, but I was like basically like an older teenager or early 20s. And that was when, and they were kind of that age. And that's when it makes sense to really be into it. And now that I'm like 50, I can't watch people just get hurt, just do things. I have a hard time watching football now. You know what I mean? Because those guys like smash into each other. And every time I see somebody get wrung out on a stretcher, whereas I used to be like, yeah, that was awesome. Now I see somebody on a stretcher and all I can think about is like, oh my God, that guy may never play again, or that guy shouldn't play again. It's not fun. So watching this, going to the movies for 2.5 hours just to see these guys, I don't know, get trampled by bulls and crap. That's not in the cards for me.
Yeah, I think you don't feel it as much when you're a kid. And by feel it, I mean like you see what's happening on the screen and you're like, oh, you think it's funny, but like now that I'm older, it's like, holy shit, they had to hurt. Like, and like you're saying with sports, football in general, or even baseball, like guys to catch all the way through college, and seeing these guys get the ball hit off their, upper thighs. I'm like, oh, it pains me watching.
Yeah.
I don't want to see somebody get hurt for 2 hours at a damn movie.
Yeah. When I was in my, late teens, early 20s, I could literally do all that stuff that they were doing and just get hurt and just bounce right back up. Or, like you said, you were in college, you're catching, like you could do it. And you don't think about at that age, you have your own lived experience and you're looking at a guy who's 34 and he's catching, but you're feeling like, oh no, he's just like me. Right. But then when you actually get to be 34, 35 and you have that lived experience and you see a 35-year-old catcher, you're like, oh my God, how can he walk? How can he do anything right now? So
yeah, it's brutal, man. Even I used to watch, well, not as much anymore, but I used to watch wrestling, and the stupid stunts they do. Like we went to a show last year, the AEW show, and they were like power bombing people on fucking cinder blocks, dude. Like real cinder blocks, not like fake ones. And I'm like, people were like cheering. I'm like, why are you putting yourself through this for?
And those guys aren't even young. A lot of them.
I was like, and dude, they do some, like, I understand the whole thing, but knowing now what we don't know is that when we didn't know back then is, it's a work. Like everybody, it's for entertainment and they try to keep each other safe. But when they get hit with chairs and when they get slammed on you, that's really happening and you're really hurting yourself. Like I would not take a damn power bomb on the middle of my back in a cinder block. And like I would even at the match, I was telling my wife who happened to be there with me, I was like, what the hell is happening here?
Yeah, I mean, when you're 20 and you punch a wall just to punch a wall just for the hell of it, it's like, yeah, that's fine, whatever, and it hurts a little bit, and but you pulled your punch, you could do that, but then when you think about, okay, now I'm 40, do I really want to punch that wall every day? Even if I'm pulling my punch every day, I'm gonna do that like these guys do. It's insane.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
So anyway, we're not going to see this movie because we're old. Just would be too cringy to watch this movie. The other movie coming out this week that is a remake, and it's a little bit of a sequel and all that stuff too, and it fits in with this show. It's Supergirl. So it's coming off of the 2025 Superman. We got introduced for about 5 seconds. Maybe the worst part of Superman was how they introduced her. It was not good, but we are having this, Supergirl. It's a remake of, they did in 1980, I think 5 with the actress. I can't think of the actress's name, but she was also Buffy the Vampire Slayer, right?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
And I feel so bad for her because she had these like big name projects, and then
Christy Swanson.
Yeah, and then they didn't pan out for her. You know, like she should have been set for life on those, the way that they do them now. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, they were just not good movies, and so they never made any sequels or anything like that. So they're rebooting it. They're doing a new style. I probably will go see this, and I'm going to go see it probably because of Superman 25. Like that made me enough of a believer. And of course, James Gunn, I don't think he's directing it, but he's in charge of DC now. And he's just been so good at most of the stuff he's done.
Yeah. So James Gunn, always one of my favorites. He basically has revamped DC, which is in dire need of him helping them. He did great with Guardians of the Galaxy, and then he did his own version of Suicide Squad, which I thought was 10 times better than Zack Snyder's. And then he, revamped them with the Peacemaker show, with John Cena, and now he's doing it with the Superman franchise. So to be honest with you, I probably won't see this in theater, not because I dislike it. It just took me almost a year to see the newer one, which is what I did for this show. So it's just where I have a backlog of things. And there are so many Marvel stuff coming out this year that my kid wants to see. Superman's kind of on the back burner right now. But I will eventually get around to it because I do want to see how they do the Lobo character with Jason Momoa.
Yeah, which is great because he just came off of being Aquaman, technically in the same universe, but obviously a different universe. I don't know. He should have always been Lobo and never Aquaman. So I'm all for it. Like, I think
you want to see something really cool with him is Jason Momoa is actually a huge fan of The Crow, the Jacob Barr comic graphic novel.
Oh yeah.
Which Brandon Lee did. And he was pitching for a long time to have a reboot of The Crow, and he wanted to be in the lead. He basically shot a promo for it. You can look it up online. It looks fucking awesome. Like he had like the long hair, the makeup. He did like basically like a little promo for it, and it eventually died off the vine because they couldn't get financing. They couldn't get the writers for it. So he eventually left. And when we got the Skarsgård horrible reboot that came out.
Yeah. Now so that was based on a graphic novel, but I'm guessing it is not a DC.
No, I think Barr is from his own.
His own.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I was wondering about that because I was like, well, this could be the opportunity now that he's got somebody new over there at DC. But
yeah, it's James O. Barr. It's from Press Image Comics.
So it's from Image. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not from DC.
Cool. Okay. Well, I will probably go see it. We've got a local theater. It's an independent theater, and I was literally walking by it earlier today, and I saw that the poster was there. And so I went and saw Superman last year at that same theater with my son. He's in town, so I think we'll go. And actually my wife might go see this because she enjoyed the Superman movie. So we could probably talk her into going and checking this one out too.
Nice.
Okay, let's move on. All right. July 1st, Minions and Monsters. Are you a Minions guy? Is your family a Minions family?
So my son is a Despicable Me fan. He hasn't really mentioned this film, so I probably won't see it. I probably will see it. I won't see it at theater. I'll probably see it when it comes out to streaming because I'll probably want to watch it.
Right. Yeah, the Despicable Me I saw way back when, but I feel like the Minions sort of missed my kids, like a little bit behind their age. Like I think Despicable Me was on time, but by the time they actually, I think they did a Despicable Me 2 and then they did a Minions, and I think by the time they did a Minions, they were already past it.
Yeah. Well, my son's younger too, so he just got.
You're younger. Everybody in your house is a lot younger than everybody in my house. Yeah. No, I know. It's just, yeah, Minions and Monsters, it's a huge franchise. They make tons of these damn movies. I don't know anything about them, really.
I'm older than Eli.
Well, yes, but I'm saying, but you would be my generation, not Eli's generation. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
My kids are older than your kids, and my kids' parents are older than your kids' parents. That's what I'm saying.
I'm still old. So.
We're old. We're old up in this place. Okay. And then the next one, it's going to be released. I was kind of surprised to see this. It's Enola Holmes. This is going to be on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, I never know with Netflix anymore. Like, sometimes they'll release these things in 3 theaters so that they can get, I don't know, some sort of, awards nominations or something. But it doesn't make any sense for this one. It's the third. And so I don't think they'll do that. Also, the second one I think came out in 2018 or 2019. Like, it was a while ago. I was really surprised to see that Enola Holmes, and if anybody's wondering, Enola Holmes is a movie with I'm forgetting her
Millie
name.
Brown.
Yeah, Millie Bobby Brown is in it. She plays
the daughter,
Sherlock Holmes's younger sister. And Sherlock Holmes is played by the old Superman.
Yeah, Henry Cavill.
Yeah, Henry Cavill, which I always thought was funny because Henry Cavill is a massive monster of a man. And in these Enola Holmes movies, I've seen both of the other ones, he shows up in his suit, like, because he's Sherlock Holmes, he's, Victorian era suit, but he's still giant. Like, it doesn't look right. That doesn't look like Sherlock Holmes to me because he's clearly a bodybuilder. I don't know. But this one is supposed to be like a rom-com. She's in a relationship and she's much older than she was the last time. Kind of like, in Stranger Things when she was like 47 and she was supposed to be playing like 14 or something like that. Like, I feel like she's just, I don't know. They're going to have to do a major time jump in this, or it's not going to work. It's going to be like that last season of Stranger Things when none of the kids seemed old enough or seemed young enough, I guess. So
I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm not going to see this. I didn't see the first one. I didn't see the second one. I'm not going to watch this. Millie Bobby Brown is great in Stranger Things. That's pretty much all I know her from. And it's not really against her. I just have no interest in watching a Sherlock Holmes film that is not involving Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law. I'm waiting for that.
Oh, you like those versions?
I like that. Yeah, that version the best.
I like the Benedict Cumberbatch.
That's actually a very good one too. I'll give him that.
I really like all those.
And I even like the one with Watson with Lucy Liu.
Oh yeah.
Elementary.
The TV show one.
Yeah, but I am not going to watch this. I have no interest in it. So yeah,
it's
my wife will probably watch it though.
It's really light fare. It's like it's a perfect movie for like, I don't want to think. I just want to turn a movie on, and it's good enough that you'll watch it and be like, oh, that's good enough, and then move on and never have to think about it again. And then be surprised 6 years later when there's a new one and you're like, wow, I didn't think that was going to happen.
Yeah. If I ever feel like that, I usually turn on Maniac Cop. Shout out to Magnificent Stan, or I turn on like I Come in Peace.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, July 10th, Moana. We're going to move a little quicker on this one. Moana live action. Yes or no?
No.
No, yeah, not in a movie theater. Not gonna happen.
I didn't see the animated one.
Yeah. Oh, I saw the animated. Animated was good, but again, it wasn't good enough that I'm gonna watch a live action version of it. Okay, this one is in your wheelhouse. Evil Dead Burn. So this is coming out July 10th. This is not technically a sequel. It is a spin-off of the current versions of the Evil Dead series, which I don't know what that means. But it says it's a spin-off.
So this one, we actually discussed a little bit on at the show last episode. This is actually a prequel. And I will go see this. I'm trying to get Tony Burt to go with me, the sugar baggie, because we saw the last one, Evil Dead Rise. And that movie was freaking horrible.
Yes,
but
that was a bad movie. I agree.
This one actually is interesting because Sam Raimi's actually is involved with it, and it's supposed to take place before Bruce Campbell's character Ash goes to the cabin.
Okay, so I heard you say that at the show, and when I was looking this up, this one I don't think is that.
Oh, really?
That is Evil Dead Wrath.
What the hell?
And I think that's coming out next year, and that's a prequel, and it's supposed to take place in 1972, whereas the original took place in 1980. So this Evil Dead Burn is supposed to be a spin-off of something that came out of Rise, I think.
Yeah, so this is man, I'm not gonna see this shit then. You know what?
I see. You know, and that's what I was wondering. I was wondering if that would change your mind, because I know Rise was not a good movie.
Yeah, and it's so bad. I love Bruce Campbell, but I don't know, man. Like, it says that he's series creator with Bruce Campbell and Lee Cronin as executive producers.
Yeah, they're producers on this stuff.
Man, I didn't like the last one. I really did not. I tried to. I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't watch this. I watched the one I was talking about, the one I sold for them.
Right. Evil Dead Wrath. That's a prequel. I will probably not watch that. Well, I'll watch it maybe on streaming at some point, but I hate prequels and flashbacks. I hate them. Hate them, hate them, hate them. All of them, including, yes, Godfather 2. Don't like it. I like half of that movie. The half that takes place with Michael Corleone, I'm into. The half that takes place with his father and the Sicily and all that garbage, I'm done. I don't care.
But wasn't Godfather 2 written after Godfather 1?
Yeah, but half the movie is about Marlon Brando's character.
I know, but it's based off a book, though. So I mean, it's not like they went back in time because of. I think it's based off a book.
But it's still a prequel. It's still like, for me, or it's a flashback. It's not a prequel. It's a flashback in the movie, and for me, that half of the movie I don't care about, because I only care about Michael Corleone. Like,
yeah, I feel you there.
Story. Yeah.
But I think it gets a pass for me is because usually when a film series goes to prequel or a TV series, it means they're losing ratings or they have to introduce some character that just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
For The Godfather, I think it's because the writer actually went back to show Vito. It kind of like, it's like, okay. And that was the second book in the series. I don't mind Godfather 2. I always like Godfather 1's my favorite one.
Well, and I mean, people love Godfather 2. It won the best picture. It was like everybody everywhere always says, oh, Godfather 1, Godfather 2, they're great. They're great. I just happen to be one of the few people in the world. I'm like, yeah, I don't need Godfather 2, just because half of the movie is flashbacks to the stuff that I don't really care about. I love the Corleone stuff. I like that part of it. I like them in the 50s and going to Cuba and doing all that stuff. That's awesome. But all this stuff when they go to Sicily, I'm like, I could cut this out and then I could watch like a movie that's an hour long instead of this, whatever, 2.5 hours that they gave me. I'll get killed. There's people out there right now just like throwing their headphones into the toilet because of what I just said, but whatever, it happens. So the Evil Dead's this new one coming out shortly may not be the one you want to see.
No.
Spider-Man Brand New Day, yes or no?
Yes, I will see that with my son. He's looking forward to it.
I will not. I will catch it sometime on streaming, but I personally could not stand the last one, whatever that was, the
really?
Mouth of Madness or whatever.
No Way Home.
Yeah, I thought that was a terrible movie. I hated it. I thought it was terrible. And, like those movies were like Homecoming was excellent. And I actually just watched that again, maybe a month ago. That's a great movie and it holds up. And Michael Keaton's amazing. But then the next one with Rey Mysterio Jr., which was weird because he's a wrestler. Mm-hmm. I know that's not who it is, but it would have been better if it was. It just didn't do anything for me. Like, I don't know. It lacked a lot. And then the third one just felt like that felt like they were still writing it when they were done filming it. Like they wrapped on the show and the writers came in with the last 8 pages. And they're like, "Oh, we're done. Sorry."
Did you like Mouth of Madness, the Doctor Strange movie?
It was better than the Spider-Man movie.
Okay, because that was Sam Raimi. So I want to know if you.
Yeah, it was better than the Spider-Man movie. And of course, I mean, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 is the best Spider-Man movie in my opinion. That one was freaking awesome.
I didn't mind No Way Home. I think it was for nostalgia because they had Sam Raimi's Spider-Man and then they had Andrew Garfield in there.
Yeah, they had those guys, but it was kind of like it was jumping the shark. That was just a fan service sort of thing. All right, the last one, Super Troopers 3. Were you aware that there was much like Enola Holmes 3? I was like, there's a Super Troopers 3? Like, I did not see that one coming.
So everybody says Broken Lizard, who does the comedy trope.
Yeah.
Their favorite film from them is Super Troopers. My favorite film from them is actually Beer Fest.
Oh, agreed. Agreed.
Beer
Fest is the best damn movie. And I don't know why they don't do Beer Fest. If you're going to make a sequel, make Beer Fest. It would be so much easier. They're making these cop shows. They have cop cars. They have locations, all this stuff. Beer Fest they can do on a soundstage.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm not going to see Super Troopers. I could give 2 shits about Super Troopers.
Yeah. At some point I may see it if there's nothing else going on.
And I liked the first one. The first one was okay. I mean, Farva was probably the best character in the movie, but
yeah,
I don't know.
The first, for me, everybody loves the first Super Troopers. A lot of people really do love the first Super Troopers. I thought it was a good movie, but the worst part about the movie is that the first 5 minutes are some of the funniest things I've ever seen. The kid on drugs in the cop car is so funny.
The meow.
Oh my God. It is insanely funny. And after that, I think the movie's probably okay. It just can't hold a candle to what they started with. That was amazing. They should have stuck that in the middle of the movie though. Starting with that bit really sucked you in and made it great. But yeah, that was just, it was too funny. It ruined the rest of the movie because they couldn't hold up to that kind of humor the whole way.
I have some breaking news here, Cotton. Not in the film universe, but it has to do with in our realm of things. So I did post earlier in the ranters I've been posting on Twitter. The White Sox Charities had a T-shirt for podcasts with White Sox Podcast that made their own T-shirts, and if you bought them, the winner who sold the most T-shirts would have $5,000 donated to their charity. The From 108 guys, who I know personally, I know you listen to, I know Danny has met from Sun Ranto's side, has chosen the Lost Boys as their charity, which the Ranchers have done a lot of things with. And then the 108 guys are getting involved in. Well, the 108 guys lost to Sox on 35th, but White Sox Charities just announced that even though the 108 guys lost, they're still donating $1,000 to the Lost Boys. So the Lost Boys will get $1,000 from the White Sox Charities, which is a good thing.
Nice. That is awesome. That's really cool. And yeah, it's funny because the Lost Boys is an organization on the south side of Chicago, and most of the kids and the adults in that organization are Sox fans. But for whatever reason, well, the reason is Danny, getting hooked up with them. They ended up getting more recognition from the Cubs. Yeah, and it's always funny. Levante is like, I wasn't really a Cubs fan before, but I'm a Cubs fan now because they've been doing a lot for us. And then, he's always like, White Sox, you need to get in on this. So it's good to see that the White Sox are going to start getting in on this. I think the kids would really like, obviously they really like going up to Wrigley and seeing games and stuff there, but it would be even better if there was a little more connection with their favorite team.
Yeah, so I hope that that connection grows going forward. I didn't mean to break you up. I just saw the tweet right now, so I had to bring that up because I know we were talking about earlier.
No, that's it. I'm not going to go see Super Troopers in the theater either. But that's the end of this segment. So I think we can actually move on to Act 2, start talking about the movies we came to talk about.
Cool.
And now for my next number, I'd like to return to the classics.
All right. Can I move these slides? I can. Yep. Perfect. Well, the movie that we're starting with is 1978 Superman. So the story of Superman, if you've never seen this, it's been so long. It's been almost 50 years since this movie came out. And I think it's very likely there's a lot of people out there who have not seen this. I think you should see it. I think it's an enjoyable movie, but 1978, it's Krypton is going to be destroyed. So Jor-El sends his son Kal-El to Earth to escape. Kal-El grows up as Clark Kent and becomes Superman, who maybe saves California, New Jersey. Not sure about that exactly, but he definitely saves Lois Lane. And this stops Lex Luthor from owning the West Coast of the U.S. That's the synopsis. Do you have anything to add to that, Yumper?
No, that's actually the best synopsis. It confused me too when I thought Metropolis was in like New York, but this I guess they're in California. I don't know.
No, I have no. But Metropolis is supposed to be like New York.
Yeah,
right?
that's why like it was confusing when like did Lois Lane fly out there or like I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. To me.
So she went. They do say it because I've always been confused about it. But at one point, there's like this little bit where she is on the West Coast investigating who is this mysterious person who's buying up a bunch of dry land.
Mm-hmm.
That person is Lex Luthor. She didn't know that. And they never actually come right out and say that. Like, you just have to pick that up as you go through it. So if you've only seen it once or twice, or you just haven't seen it, it's really easy to forget that.
Yeah.
But this was directed by the late, great Richard Donner. His first theatrical movie was The Omen from 1976. I'm sure you have seen this, Yumper.
Yes, Damien.
Yeah, Damien, The Omen. That's one of those movies I don't think gets enough love because The Exorcist came out right around the same time. And The Exorcist was, it's a better movie, I guess. It's still the same kind of scares. It's the occult, but it's also religious and it's the devil and all that. So, but he also graced us with The Goonies, the entire Lethal Weapon franchise, and then Scrooged, one of the great Christmas Scrooge movies starring Bill Murray as a TV executive. I don't know. And those are only some of his. He actually got to start doing a lot of TV. Did Tales from Dark Side or the a bunch, but he did a whole bunch of TV before he got into movies. That's why I put that The Omen was his first theatrical movie, because he did TV movies prior to that.
Yeah, Richard Donner like from movies of my childhood, The Goonies, you know, The Omen, of course. Well, and not for a normal childhood for any kid, but for my childhood, The Omen was a big thing. He did Kojak, Sons and Daughters, The Streets of San Francisco. I think he directed like episodes on that.
Yeah, these are all TV shows from the
So he's done
late
like
60s, 70s.
Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff. Radio Flyer, I think he did 92. Yeah, Radio Flyer with Elijah Wood. That was a movie that was in I watched. He's just done a lot of stuff that I grew up watching.
Yeah. And he seems to have been a good dude.
Mhm.
Like actors and stuff really liked working with him. But famously, he was fired from Superman, and Superman 2 was reshot by Richard Lester. So when they were shooting Superman, they decided to shoot both Superman and Superman 2 at the exact same time.
Mhm.
And they got, as they were doing it, it was running over budget. It was expensive. And I don't know exactly what happened. I was looking for reasons exactly, but I think it was more the budget stuff and just struggles with Marlon Brando a little bit. And then he ended up getting fired, but they were like 80% done with Superman 2 when he was fired. And they would have had to give him credit as the director, even if somebody came in and finished it. So instead, Richard Lester reshot all the stuff Richard Donner had already shot. So basically just reshooting the exact same scenes, maybe slightly different, but reshooting the scenes just so they could take Richard Donner's name off of it.
Yeah, and I think they nailed it down to like 20% of the film was
Yeah.
Donner. They did release a Donner cut in 2006.
And yes. So it's Superman 2, the Donner cut. I have never seen it. Have you seen it?
No.
No, I am going to watch it this week. Like I kind of would have liked to get it done before the show, but we're not going to talk about that anyway. But I am interested in seeing it. But also, this movie written by Mario Puzo, who wrote Godfather and Godfather 2. So we were just talking about that earlier, but I just thought it was amazing because I never thought about that at all until I was watching the credits for this movie. I'm like, oh my God, Mario Puzo did this movie.
Yep, that's pretty crazy.
The budget for this movie was $55 million. That was the most expensive movie ever made at the time. Now, I think that's a little bit of a little off because they were shooting two movies at once. You know what I mean? But that's the story. 55 million was the most expensive movie ever made. But it's like if you're really shooting two movies at once, it's like 27 million.
Yeah, and just going through the little inflation calculator here, 55 million in 1978, 280.9 million in 2026.
Wow. So that would still be very expensive at this time.
Yes.
But it made over 300 million. So, 6 times what it cost to make. And then the ratings on this, I was surprised by these ratings a little bit. It's got a 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb, 87% on the tomatometer. That's always tomato meter.
Tomato meter. Yeah, tomato meter.
And 86% on the popcorn meter. So that's kind of surprising that the tomato meter and the popcorn meter is so close together. Metacritic has it as an 82 out of 100, and their user score is a 7.8 out of 10. So I was kind of, I don't know, those ratings seem a little low. I don't know. I guess they're about right for now, right? For when people started to put these ratings up would have been like 30 years after this movie was made.
I think so. To be honest with you, I think they're kind of high. And I think a lot of it is nostalgia. This was not a bad movie by any means. But like 7.8, I mean, that's like ridiculously high.
Is it?
That's like to me it is anyway out of
Yeah.
10. But yeah, that's just my opinion.
Right. Okay, so that is the 1978. Now we are on to 2025 Superman. Oh, and I forgot to say in the first one on the poster,
Mhm.
their big selling point was "You'll believe a man can fly," and they really did. Like they did those graphics that they had aren't perfect now, but they were really good for back then for making him look like he was actually flying.
Yeah, it's just the graphics that sucked was when he was racing the train.
Oh my God. It's horrible. And on this one, it says, "Look up." That's just I don't even know what that means. Like as your tagline for your movie, Superman, look up.
I don't know. The funny thing
is it because people are on their phones all the time?
Probably. The funny thing is, if you look at this poster that you posted, if you're not watching on YouTube, Cotton has a poster of Superman that James Gunn had David Cornswet as Superman, and every time I see this poster, it reminds me of Ted 2 when they do the reveal of who Superman's gonna be, and he's like, it looks like they're shining the light on the S, and it's like it's gonna be Jonah Hill, and you hear Mark Wahlberg's character go, "Fuck." Like it just makes me think of that scene just for the way that the light's hitting his S.
Yeah.
But this film, Cotton, like you said, was done by James Gunn. It's directed and written by James Gunn, Jerry Siegel, and Joe Shuster. This one actually bypasses the origin story, and it gives you like a little writing in the beginning to say, over 300 decades, I believe it says, that there were other metahumans coming to Earth.
So that is a reference to James Gunn's animated TV show called Creature Commandos. I think it came out on HBO. But yeah, that's a reference to that. So he's bringing everything in, starting from Creature Commandos being back in dinosaur time. I don't know. I haven't seen Creature Commandos. Have you?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it starts off with that, and then it goes to 30 decades to 3 decades to when Superman was born, and then 3 years ago he showed the Earth he was Superman, and then 3 minutes ago he lost his first battle as Superman, and then we see him in the snow being pulled out by Crypto, which I thought was pretty hilarious. But we saw this in the trailer with a sneak peek they gave us. The whole premise of this is basically a lot of underlining tones and messages in this film that I got there's a battle between two countries where one country is basically overpowering the other. Then you have Lex Luthor who's trying to kill Superman and he explains that it's due to him being jealous of him and being envious of him. It's a lot of little plot points that they kind of tie all together at the end. With him, of course, defeating Superman, defeating Lex Luthor, and eventually killing Ultraman, which is basically himself. Spoiler alert, I'm sorry, but if you haven't seen the movie, it's a year old.
Yeah. Well, I don't care about spoilers.
Yeah. But pretty much really wrapped up really nicely, bow. But a lot of political undertones in this film, which I really, really liked.
It is a much deeper movie than the original. And you're right. It doesn't go through his full origin. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. I have that in the notes to talk about when we get into talking about the movies. But it's funny because of that too. I can almost see this could kind of be Superman 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way that I watched the 78 first this week, and then I watched the 25. So when I was watching, I was like, this really could be a sequel to that first movie almost.
Yeah. And that's how I want to bring up for when we do the ratings. This movie is more of a sequel than I would say a reboot. But it's a rebooted franchise, so it does fall into our terms. So I can
Yeah.
kind of agree with you there.
Okay, well, you mentioned it earlier. James Gunn directed this. His first movie, because he did some TV and a few things first as well. But his first movie was Slither from 2006. Have you seen this? This is a horror movie.
Yes,
I have
done,
not seen this. I have seen the poster for it on the streaming, the little thumbnail, and I'm like, yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, so it's his first directorial film.
Yeah.
I did it. It was actually I don't know if I did it I think I did it this year for 31 Days of Horror. I've done so many. I did like over 120 movies for 30 Days of Horror. So
Yeah.
It's either this year or last year, but I did do James Gunn's Slither. Funny cool thing about James Gunn, before he even started doing directing, he wrote for Tromoville.
Yeah.
Which is goes back to when we did Toxic Avenger. I think Lloyd Kaufman does a cameo in this film too. I think as a bystander or something. I can't.
Oh,
remember.
does he? I didn't pick up on that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, his first true writing credit was Tromeo and Juliet. Have you seen that movie?
Yes, it's horrible.
It's bad. Yeah, it is rough. But then he had some, I don't know, he hasn't done a ton of movies at this point since he just started in 2006. I mean, literally, it's been 20 years. That seems like a long time, but when you're a director, it's really hard to do, especially when you have the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise in there. That's 4 movies. Well, 3 movies and a holiday special. There's a lot there that you have to do. But before he got into actual superheroes, he had Super. Did you see this one with Rainn Wilson?
Yes.
Yep. I saw it I saw it when it first came out on video. So it must have been 2008 or something like that. But I remember enjoying it. It was a little darker. It was a little more drama than I had expected when I got it. But I remember it being a pretty good movie. And then, of course, he did the Guardians of the Galaxy. He's done all of those movies. He did the franchise. The Suicide Squad that you mentioned. Now, was it Suicide Squad 2, or did they just sort of reboot Suicide Squad 3 minutes after they released the first one?
It wasn't really a reboot because they have Rick Flag come back.
Yeah.
I think it was more of a sequel to it because they have Harley Quinn come back too. So they have 2 characters from the original. Well, actually, they have more than that. They have Captain Boomerang come back. He dies in the beginning. But they have a couple characters come back from the original, the James, Zack Snyder cut. But like I said, I think the second one is better.
Yeah. And I feel like it is. I mean, look, it's a comic book, right? Mm-hmm. And in the comics, the Suicide Squad literally changes all the time. It's whatever metahuman villains that they have, they just kind of throw on this thing and, they try and do this stuff. So that is just part of it, right? So I don't know. I could see it as being a sequel, which it seemed like, but it absolutely could have been a reboot, and we just don't even know. But then after that, he was doing some Marvel stuff, but he got into the Suicide Squad, and then they gave him the job as the head honcho of the DC movie universe. So now he's directing. Superman was the first. He directed this one, but all the movies are going to be under his sort of
they're under his umbrella. So
yeah.
For those who don't know, when he took over before this franchise got popped off again, there was rumors of Henry Cavill coming back and doing a film with Dwayne Johnson due to the ending of Black Adam. Right. They teased Superman versus Black Adam. Well, Black Adam did not do that well at the movie theater, so that kind of stopped that. Also, Dwayne Johnson kind of taking creative liberties or everything that didn't rub people the right way. So when he came in, he squashed that and did a reboot and cast his own Superman. Looking at the films that are coming out, soon. There's one that actually I'm really excited to see, and that's Clayface, which is based off Matt Hagen, which is a character from Batman.
Yep.
It looks like a horror slash superhero movie, and that's something that I'm really, really looking forward to seeing. Are you familiar with the character of Clayface?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
That movie makes me wonder too, because they're going to do the Batman 2, right? And that was technically not James Gunn. It's DC, but because it's comic book stuff, it can exist in a different universe altogether. And it feels like it might exist in that universe and not necessarily
I don't know
Superman
because I don't know because from if I remember reading back, Matt Reeves said that this Batman would never exist in James Gunn's era. So I don't know. That's the thing too. Like DC is so fucked up with their universes. And I'm glad James Gunn's there. Maybe they can work something out, but I don't think they're gonna be like that Batman will exist in James Gunn's Batman universe.
Well, and that's the thing. I think Batman will, but it won't be that Batman, right?
Yeah,
and
probably be the one.
With Clayface. Yeah, with Clayface coming out, I don't know which universe that's going to be a part of. It looks like a cool movie, but The Batman is a very dark, gritty movie.
Mm-hmm.
Clayface looks, like you said, dark, gritty, like a horror movie, which that looks like a great idea. I don't know. So I don't know where they're going to place it. That's all. But it does look good. I'm excited for that one. All right. And then getting into this, the budget of this movie was $225 million. So based on your inflation calculator, it actually cost less than the original. And it made $618 million. So not quite 3 times as much. But still, I don't know. I feel like some people acted like this movie didn't do well. No, it did pretty dang good. Like it did 400, almost 400 million.
I think the reason you think that way is because, like, with the political undertones of what's going on in the world, there was so much fucking crybabies on that say keep movies when they don't understand why movies is art and art display sometimes what's going on. There's so many complaints about it going on the internet and articles written that people would think this movie failed when in reality it made 4 times its budget.
Yeah.
Well, 3 times its budget.
Yeah. Well, and in the ratings, 7.0 IMDb, 83% tomato meter, 90% popcorn meter, which I thought that was interesting because the 83% tomato meter, that's sort of the professionals and how they're rating it. And then the popcorn meter being the people who watched it. And it seems like on that site, at least, people really like this quite a bit more than the critics did. And then the Metacritic has it at 68. And then the user score is at 7.2, which is higher, but it's not that much higher, I don't think. So those were kind of interesting ratings, especially with this one, because I thought that these would have been a little bit higher. But like you said, I think there's a group of, there's a certain segment of the population out there is just trying to like bring the ratings down if it can.
I mean, yeah, and they also bring the ratings up. Like Melania, that movie had like I think 54% in the tomato thing or whatever, and people thought it was I think it had a 10% tomato meter and then 99 popcorn meter. Come on.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that is the tale of the tape for these 2 movies. So I think we're ready to move into Act 2, and we are going to start talking about these characters.
Act 3, you mean?
Did we already? No, we haven't done Act 2 yet.
We just did Act 2, my friend. This is Act 2. We are in Act 2.
Did you run the Act 2 thing?
Yeah.
The promo?
Yeah, we just ran it.
Oh my God. Well, I must have been sleeping during that part. Or I was actually, I know what I was doing. I think I was looking at my notes and stuff while I was going. Oh, my bad. Okay. Well, and we are doing this slightly different this time. In the past, I've gone through all the characters and stuff. We are going to get past that. We're just going to go right into the cast and character clash. We will talk about these characters, the actors that portrayed them, and kind of decide who we like, dislike, some of the differences. So obviously, we have to start with Superman / Clark Kent, Christopher Reeve versus David Corn Sweat. Who do you got, Yump?
This is like I will say David Corn Sweat did a good job as Superman. He had some big shoes to fill from Henry Cavill, who did a pretty decent job. But you can't go with the OG, Superman, for, at least from my lifetime, if we're not talking about like the extremely or George Reeves, or OG Superman. But Christopher Reeves is Superman. That's the role. He was called Superman even later on in his career. So I have to go with Christopher Reeves. I thought David Corn Sweat did a good job, but the thing that real seals it for me is the way Christopher Reeves presents himself as Clark Kent, as the very sloppy, dorky kind of portrayal of Clark Kent, while David Corn Sweat doesn't really do it as well. But I will give the 2025 props because they explain why he can pull off Clark Kent, because he uses his hypnosis, which is actually in the comic books. I actually had to find that out.
Yeah.
Which explains a lot, because like everybody used to make fun of the thing, you take off the glasses, you're Superman, you put back on the glasses, you're Clark Kent. Like, to me, it was always stupid. Even when I was a kid, I'm like, how did I not know who it is? But in this one, it explains why. And then at least in Christopher Reeve's thing, it explains how he does things. He's all dorky and whatnot, even though,
Right.
you should know.
Yeah, I will say Christopher Reeve comes off, the difference between his Superman and his Clark Kent is very different. Like, it's actually pretty impressive the way that he acted those two parts, so that it made it somewhat believable that people wouldn't pick up on it right away. And you're right, David Corn Sweat was not as good at making that. It's like a fastball and a change up, right? Like, it's supposed to look the same, but it's two different things. And the more distance you have between those two things, the better it is. And yeah, I think Christopher Reeve had such a difference in his Clark Kent that he did pull that off better. And you're right, he was known as Superman. I mean, do you even know much else that Christopher Reeve did?
Village of the Damned. It's pretty much.
Yeah, Village of the Damned is one of the last movies he kind of acted in, because 1995 he fell off a horse and he became paralyzed for the rest of his life. And 95 was when Village of the Damned came out. He was still in a few other things, like as the voice, and he did a lot of more TV because it was less taxing on his body, and they could do stories that made sense for him being in a wheelchair and stuff. So he kept acting even after he became paralyzed. But yeah, he was in his first movie was right before Superman, called The Gray Lady. And then Somewhere in Time. That's the only other movie I really remember him in. Do you remember this movie?
That's
It's
Somewhere
a
in
love
Time.
story.
No.
It's
Looking
like
at
this love story where he jumps around in time and falls in love in the past or the future or something. I don't know. I saw it a million years ago when I was a kid. I think it was maybe 1980-ish, 81, I would have been watching Superman. And then I see, Christopher Reeve's in this Somewhere in Time. This looks good. It was not good for like a 6-year-old kid. It was just like, and it wasn't like bad. It was just happened to be a love drama. So it wasn't like my favorite movie. I was like, why is Superman kissing this woman? I don't understand.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I think the only other thing I know him in is he was in an episode of Tales from the Crypt.
Yep.
And I think he did This is before he got hurt. Some film called, I think, Noises Off or something about like a traveling group, theater group.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can remember. Yeah, Noises Off.
Yeah.
He did that. That was with Michael Caine. Those are the only two movies I can think of him off the top of my head.
Yeah.
After he had the paraplegic accident, I can't remember anything except him doing a commercial where he walks.
Oh yeah, I think I remember they did like a CGI. Where he
Yeah, about
walked
like the advances in medicine, and then it showed him walk, which I was like, oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, much like Christopher Reeve, I think David Cornsweet is only known as Superman at this point. He did have other movies, but no real big parts except for Twisters that came out the year before. And that movie just wasn't good. He had a good big part in it, but that wasn't a good movie. So it didn't do much for him. And he's going to be in Supergirl, and they've already got Man of Tomorrow scheduled, and they're filming it right now, which is another Superman movie. So, yeah.
He's also in Pearl.
Yeah, but he's the projectionist.
Yeah, he's a small role in there, but he's in.
Yeah, it's a really small role. So, yeah, if it was a bigger role, I might have said something about that because that was an interesting find. But yeah, whatever. It's Pearl, or it's a projectionist there. Okay, let's move on to Lois Lane. Who you got, Margot Kidder or Rachel Brosnahan?
Oh man, this was kind of a tough one for me because they both had goods and bad parts of their performance. Margaret Kidder, when I think of Lois Lane, I always thought of her due to seeing the films. Her and the chick that was in what's it, Desperate Housewives. I can't think of her name off the top of my head now because of the Dean Cain Superman, Lois.
Okay.
Lois and Clark.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say Amy Adams because she kind of looks like Marsha Clark. They're both red hair and stuff, but yeah.
I can't think of her name, but
Amy Adams was Lois Lane in the Henry Cavill Superman movies.
Yeah.
She was Margot Kidder, Kathy Lutz from the Amityville Horror, 1979. That was her next movie.
Terry Hatcher was her name.
Oh, Terry Hatcher. Okay.
Yeah. So Margot Kidder's always been Lois Lane. I thought, if I had to choose, I would go with Margaret Kidder because she's the original Lois Lane from my childhood. Rachel Brosnahan did a great job though. There was both characters had some comedic timing in it. Which I thought was more towards the Gunn because Gunn likes to involve that in his movies, which I thought was done well. But as far as more of the Lois Lane that I grew up with, it would probably be Margaret Kidder I would go with. Also, I thought Rachel Brosnahan kind of had a disadvantage because she was already playing knowing that Clark was Superman.
Right.
So she's kind of a disadvantage that way.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know. Rachel Brosnahan is actually my choice. And I will say most of these are going to be very close for me, but Margot Kidder was great. I did like her as a kid. She always was the Lois Lane in my head. But watching these two movies, I think both of them were great in their roles. I think Rachel Brosnahan had a better role to work with. How she got to portray Lois Lane, and you think that was a negative, like a harder thing. I think it was an easier thing. Like it made her better to already know that Clark Kent was Superman, because we didn't have to mess around with this will they, won't they kind of stuff that they were playing with. They were already in a relationship, and I liked to see how she worked that and how she, played her role as a reporter while also being, in a relationship with maybe the most famous man on the planet,
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I'm going Brosnahan on that one. All right, let's go to Lex Luthor. Gene Hackman versus Nicholas Hoult.
Nicholas Hoult is a great actor, but I'm going Gene Hackman all the way here because Gene Hackman is more menacing in this film. Nicholas Hoult to me cannot be as menacing as a villain. He just maybe because of his baby face, but Gene Hackman is both menacing and comedic timing for me, which I thought was hilarious. In watching the original, his chemistry with Ned Beatty is awesome. And also, with the original Miss Tessmacher, he just does a great job, and he's also one of the greatest actors that ever lived. So I have to go with Gene Hackman on this.
Yeah, well, I'm also going to go with Gene Hackman as the better Lex Luthor. He's just the better actor, and what he did with what he was given to work with was impressive. I think Nicholas Hoult had a better script. He had much more to work with, and I think he was excellent as Lex Luthor. I mean, we've seen a few different iterations of Lex Luthor, just like we've seen a bunch of different Supermans. I think he's the best one since Gene Hackman, but I would have loved to see Gene Hackman with that script. Because that would have been amazing. And, when I'm looking up all these movies or these, actors and stuff, I have all their movies here right next to me that I can look at just to see, what they've done if we want to talk about some of those things. All of these people I'm going through, and there's, pretty good list on a lot of them. And then you get to Gene Hackman. And Gene Hackman has a section in his Wikipedia that says selected filmography because he has so much, they couldn't even put it all in Wikipedia, which there are no limits. They're just like, yeah, we can't do this. It's too much. Gene Hackman has so many movies, TV shows, everything. Like he's prolific.
Probably. I mean, he's also acted for till he was like 70 something. But and then lived on to his 90s. But it's like it's an unfair fight for Nicholas Hoult. I mean, you're going up against a legend, and like you said, Gene Hackman did not have a lot to work with. I just thought he pulled off the role better as a menacing. Even when he kills the cop in the beginning of the film with the train, he laughs at it, and the way it's just menacing for him to laugh and smile like he just killed a fucking cop.
Yep. No, he's I mean, Gene Hackman is amazing in the role. The role just wasn't quite as good. I mean, he's got a wig on the whole time.
Well, I mean, that's the running gag.
I know it is, but still, that's sort of like where we're at with that. Like there's a little bit of that in it. But when I was looking at that, I've seen how many things he's been in. Mm-hmm. Do you remember the movie PCU?
No.
It had so it was about the college kids and at the university. God, the one don't Jeremy wear Piven? That. Yeah, Jeremy Piven. Don't wear that shirt. You can't wear the shirt of the band when you're going to see the band. All that stuff, like that movie. So if you watch that, there's a dude who is studying television. That is what he's getting his degree in. And his master's thesis is that at any moment of any day, you can turn the TV on and find a Gene Hackman movie because there's so many of them. But that's what made me think of when I saw all these things. I'm like, oh my God, PCU is right. Like this dude was studying Gene Hackman. So
it's kind of like Christopher Walken too. Anytime you see him, he's done every damn thing.
Oh yeah. Okay, these should go a little bit quicker. Okay, Otis, Ned Beatty versus Terrence Rosemore.
I always call him Ned Beatty. Ned Beatty, hands down. I don't even remember Terrence Rosemore in the newer one. his character did not stick out to me as much. Ned Beatty, like I said, his chemistry with Gene Hackman just stole a show for me in terms made it more enjoyable.
Yeah, Ned Beatty is hilarious through the whole movie. He is really just funny. He's a little too stupid, but it's all in for the
Otisburg,
comedy
man.
of it. Yeah, but that's the thing. So Terrence Rosemore had a very tiny role, and it was more of a shout out to the fans.
Mm-hmm.
So Ned Beatty, his name was Otis. That was it. But during the movie, he had written Otisburg. He wanted a when they blew the thing up, he wanted a little place for his own, and he called it Otisburg. And so in the new Superman movie, Terrence Rosemore's name was Otisburg. So they weren't the same character at all, but there was an Otis, and that's what I love. James Gunn really made sure that there were these callbacks to the original, even if it wasn't like a 1-to-1 callback. But you're right. Ned Beatty has that one. This one will be a little bit tougher, I think. Miss Tessmacher, Valerie Perrine, or Sarah Sampaio. And I do not know either of these women outside of this role. I don't know anything about them.
So this one actually, to me, wasn't that tough because Sarah Sampaio kind of was taking selfies and she got scorned by Luther. She got hit with something, and that's why she turned on him, even though she was in love with Jimmy Olsen. While Valerie Perrine, she was Lex Luthor's girl, and what turned her was that her mom was going to die, so that's why she helped Superman. So I have to go with the more character development in Valerie Perrine over Sarah Sampaio in this one. The original I have to go with.
Yeah. This was a very hard one for me because they both had different, they had different roles to play in this, but ultimately it was the same, in which they had to turn on Lex to help Superman. Right. And I just like what they did with Sarah Sampaio's character. So I don't know that it's so much the actress, but that character and the plot points that they used her with, I liked better. So, I'm going Sarah Sampaio on that one. Okay. Jimmy Olsen, Mark McClure, or Skylar Gisondo. Again, I know nothing about these two. I have it up here, but I don't know anything about these guys. Actually, I don't have these guys up here because
they weren't that important to get up there.
Probably.
Yeah. So for this one, I have to go with the newer Jimmy Olsen, because the Jimmy Olsen in the original doesn't really have much of a story behind him besides being a kid that takes pictures.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything except for just sort of show up at the end and for Superman to save. Yeah, he was almost pointless in that movie. The only reason he was in the movie is because he's in the comics, and so they had to add him. In the new movie, Skylar Gisondo definitely had a lot more to do. And the only thing I don't know that I'm ever going to be able to believe that Skylar Gisondo as Jimmy Olsen is some sort of ladies' man.
I think that I was reading that. I think that's the comedy of James Gunn, like this guy who you wouldn't think would get these girls. That's why he's so picky when he called "Oh Girl" up Newton Toe.
Yeah, but yeah, because Sarah Sampaio is like gorgeous. But then they were showing like the mailroom girls in the Daily Planet were looking at him and checking him out, and he had like all these Lois laying Rachel Braz in the hand says like, well, I don't, how do you get these girls? I don't get it.
Yeah. When she told him, like, these girls obsessed with you.
Yeah. It was kind of funny. Okay. Final one, Jor-El, Marlon Brando versus Bradley Cooper. And I'm going to tell you, I only put this in here because the original movie made such a big deal out of Marlon Brando. Because I didn't even know Bradley Cooper was in the movie, and I've seen it 4 times.
Yeah, that kind of tells you where I'm going. Marlon Brando, who eventually got credits for, I think he made like $14 million off this role for getting like proceeds from the profits and all that stuff. I'm going Marlon Brando, one of the greatest actors, number 2 in my top 3 greatest actors of all time, behind the great Daniel Day-Lewis. He just had more to work with. Bradley Cooper said some stuff in gibberish. That was basically his one scene.
I don't even know why they had Bradley Cooper and Angela Serafian as the parents. Why do you need name actors for that role? Like, I get why they got Marlon Brando. Like, he had a lot to do, and he did a lot with it, even though he was, like, all the stories are he was super lazy and he didn't want to do any of it. But he really brought a gravitas to that role, and I think he did. Like, he was really good in it.
Yeah,
again,
and I think at the time you need a person like that with that pedigree to make the role, the film be taken seriously. People have to understand too that back in the 70s, like, this is something new in terms of, like, superhero films have been around, but this is something new for where they're taken seriously in film. And Superman was in the 30s. I mean, they opened the original with that. And this one, they have to have like one of those actors to kind of like take it seriously. Like, okay, we have some real actors in this film.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, so we're done with the character clash. Now we're into the plot point punch out. This is where we're going to talk about parts of the movies themselves, kind of debate them back and forth a little bit. I've got some things that we can talk about. We can stick to this or not. It doesn't matter. But just to get us rolling, opening credits, you just sort of mentioned it. I completely forgot that they had like a little kid's hands looking through a comic book in the 1930s. I never remembered that at all. And I have seen this movie. So the original 1978, we got HBO when I was like 6 or 7 years old. And I would get home from school and Superman was on. It was just always on, like right after school. And I have seen the original Superman well over 100 times. I am probably close to 200 times seeing this movie. I loved this movie as a kid, and I still love it. I think it's a great movie. And even so, I was like, oh, what is this with the little kid in the 1930s? Like, that was a surprise to me.
Yeah, to be honest with you, the 78 film, maybe I was spoiled because I watched the newer one because I hadn't seen it. I watched the newer one before I watched 78 again. And the newer one just gets straight to the story. The 78 film has that little scene for maybe 15 seconds, and then it has the fucking credits running for like 10 minutes of these flashing credits. I'm like, Jesus Christ, can we get to the film?
Yeah.
I was like, man, it got to the point where I actually fast forwarded on Prime to get to the meat and potatoes of the origin story. It drove me a little nuts in the beginning of it. I'm like, whoa, it just takes very slowly to get started. But then again, I have to remember too, this is the 70s, so it's kind of
it's the 70s. And I mean, I would say, the opening credits for the 2025 was like 300 million years ago, 30 years ago, all that stuff. That would have been kind of their opening credits. But like you said, they jumped right into it. I mean, you didn't have to wait for anything. And the Superman 78 was like really long credits. But the other thing that blew me away, Marlon Brando, top billing, first name you see, not Superman, Marlon Brando. If you're going to watch this movie, you're probably thinking Marlon Brando is going to be Superman. Gene Hackman pops up second. Then they do the Superman title and the directors and all that stuff. And then they get into the other actors. I think Christopher Reeve was like number 6 on that, and he hadn't done much at that point. So you probably have no idea. You're sitting there in the theater in 1978, and you probably don't even know who is going to be Superman at that point. You know what I mean? I mean, unless you've seen the commercial or whatever, but still, it was wild to me how many other Terrence Stamp is in the opening credits, despite only being in the movie for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, and then now it makes a lot more sense, the filming back to back, because I'm like, oh man, they kind of like had what's his name? General Zod. They kind of had him only be there for a little bit, and then I realized, oh yeah, they filmed it back to back. So that kind of makes more sense now.
Yeah. And then, because in so he gets put into the Phantom Zone, disappears, and Superman 2 is an immediate callback to that because Superman unwittingly unleashes General Zod. But that was weird as well. But we're not getting into Superman 2. But it was just crazy how many of those different things popped up. And then, you go into the movie, you've got the classic origin story. Like you were saying, there weren't a lot of superhero movies at this point. So they did the full origin story versus the remake is they start right in the middle. They're like, you already know who Superman is. You don't know who this particular Superman is, but we don't need to do the whole origin story. What do you think about that?
I'm happy. Prefer? I'm happy. Reason being is because how many times, like even when they were doing the Henry Cavill one, I'm like, okay, they're doing Henry Cavill, and then I'm like, how many times are they gonna have to do a fucking origin story of Superman?
Yeah.
You had Smallville, you had the Christopher Reeve films, you had Dean Cain, and then they had Henry Cavill, and then I heard they're gonna do this again. I'm like, how many times? Me being me for the reboot shit. How many times are they going to do this stupid thing? I'm just glad James Gunn realized that and went straight to the story.
Well, that was the best part about Spider-Man Homecoming was that they skipped all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's already Spider-Man when we pop in. You didn't have to go through all. I personally prefer that now, but I will say 1978, they did a good job with the origin story. That was something that was new then. And so for me, it's kind of a tie, but only on sort of like the nostalgia bit of it. I don't need to ever see the Superman origin story again unless I'm watching the 1978.
Yeah,
Superman.
and that I will give them that because and this is more of a preference for me. It's not really a fault against 1978 because that was the first Superman.
Right.
And this one is more of a sequel than it is a reboot, I guess. But I do like the fact we'll have to hear the same story again. That to me, it gets old. Like, if you don't know how the hell Superman got here, then where the hell have you been?
Okay. Talking about things that get old that they just keep redoing in Superman movies. Real estate scams. 1978, the whole plot of that movie is that Lex Luthor is going to send nuclear weapons blow up part of the San Andreas Fault so that California falls into the ocean, and then he will own the West Coast of the United States. In this movie, and I know it kind of it's not 100% this is what, but James Gunn plays with this idea that Lex Luthor is trying to become king of this fictional country, Jaranpur. What's funny is that the Kevin Spacey Lex Luthor, that was a real estate scam. He was building his own island out of he like built this island out of kryptonite that Superman couldn't get to him on and all this stuff. Like Lex Luthor just keeps popping up with real estate.
Yeah, and the thing I do like that James Gunn had that as kind of like a Trojan horse that he was doing that, and then it turns out why he explains at the end why he was doing what he was doing,
right?
With the two countries, which makes sense that the reason he was doing it, he basically caused a fake war to get permission to fucking go after Superman via the government. because he was envious of him. So it was kind of like I think it was a nice little like nod to the original real estate scams. And then I'm doing my own spin on it, which I thought was a good way to prolong the story. Move along the
100%.
story.
The reason I loved this movie so much when I saw it last year. So I went and saw it with my oldest son. So he was 20 at the time, so it's not like he's not like a kid.
Mm-hmm.
We watch movies all the time. And then generally after a movie, we will just tear it to shreds. Oh, this part was dumb. This is a plot hole. This is an issue. This is right. We left this movie last summer and we were both like, that movie was amazing. That movie was amazing. And we were sitting there trying to think like, what was wrong with it? Like normally, because I told him, I'm like, normally, like, we don't see these movies and really like them like that. Like, was there anything wrong with it? And we did find some little nitpicky things. But honestly, the movie is about as flawless especially as flawless of a superhero movie as you can make. I mean, I was blown away. And all of it has to do with James Gunn understanding the 78 Superman and then doing this movie so that there are echoes of that Superman with the real estate scam, the Otis Berg being one of the guys using all the same names, right? Like Miss Tessmacher was made for the 78 movie. Otis was made for the 78 movie. Those are not characters in Superman. He brought those in. He didn't need to, but he wanted to have these callbacks to that movie. All the little, like, there's just like little things throughout the movie that are just these great callbacks to that 78 movie. This being maybe the best one. The fact that they made it seem like he was trying to take over a country, yet again, a real estate thing. And then he's like, actually, I did that just so I could get at you, Superman, because I just want to kill you. And it was a great twist. But even knowing the twist going into it later, it doesn't hurt the movie at all. Like, you just see it and you're like, this is great. This is wonderful. But it's all those like little callbacks to different things that they do. Like you're talking, Miss Tessmacher, her character arc is almost exactly the same, right? She's Lex Luthor's girlfriend. She turns on him and helps Superman. Of course, she doesn't directly help Superman in this one. She's helping Jimmy Olsen because she's in love with him. But still, the thing works. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed the 25, and the reason I really enjoyed it, not the only reason, but one of the main reasons, was all the callbacks to 78.
No, I agree with you. I do like James Gunn has a talent for taking original stories and making them his own while paying tribute to them. I think he's shown that with Guardians of the Galaxy. He turned that into his own. He's also produced the original Avengers films too, taking in little aspects of and putting his own twist on things, which I think was what made it so good. Which is why it's kind of surprises me that Kevin Feige didn't give the franchise over to him instead of continuing with it. But when you talk about hitting a home run on your first feature film for your first, as head honcho of a studio, this is a grand slam. It was an excellent film by all parts. I did have, like you said, there were some things in it that I did not care for, and one of them was the he cast a really, really good actor in Wendell Pierce as the head of the newspaper. Percy White, I think his name is.
Yeah.
And he was kind of like wasted. He wasn't really used that much, which I thought was like, it's kind of like a waste of a really, really good actor. Because Wendell Pierce is an excellent actor. If you've seen him in The Wire or even Suits, or he's doing a TV drama right now for police officers. He's a very, very good actor. and I think he was kind of wasted there. The other thing that I didn't like was he had Jake Tapper in his film. And I just don't like Jake Tapper. But it has to do with that. But he, he had cool little throwbacks to the original film and then his own spin on it. I do love the fact that in this storyline, Pa Kent is still alive. I think that I don't know if he'll probably die in the next one, but that kind of scenario where the father has to die, I know it's part of his origin, but in the original one, he dies right away. And then this one, he's still alive, and it's kind of cool that he's there with him as his dad, and he's still walking around when he's with Lois, because in the other Supermans, he's gone already. Unless I think in the Zack Snyder one, Zack Snyder? Kevin Costner walks into a fucking tornado or something.
Yeah, it was
that Superman could have saved him from, but decided I'm not going to today.
Right, but Kevin Costner told him not to save him because he's supposed to say hidden. Yeah, that was an issue. They had problems with that movie. I also like that Pa Kent was still alive, and he played a significant part, because a big part of the new movie was that he had a recording from his parents, which that's a throwback to the 78. Marlon Brando having all these recordings to teach Superman all the things that he needed to know about Krypton, but then also about Earth and all that stuff. So the fact that he had this recording made sense, but it was damaged, so he didn't know what it said at the end. And then that gets into a little bit of the nature versus nurture, because Lex Luthor figures out what is in the damaged part of the recording, and they wanted Superman to take over Earth and make everybody his subjects, like rule Earth. And that was pretty neat, because it turns the Superman myth on its head a little bit. And then they get to play with that. Like, he goes home and he's like, I'm not who I thought I was. And his dad's like, no, you are. You are who you thought you were. You know, that other part doesn't matter. And I just really like that idea that, yes, you can be one thing, but then become another, or be another, regardless of what some of your past is. It was good.
Yeah, and people, have said, oh, was that Lex Luthor basically manipulating, the actual message? And James Gunn has come out and said, no, that's the real message, which I think is awesome, because, again, the comic book guys who are really nerdy, the comic book man guy from the Simpsons, I can think of. But going ape shit over this, I think it's fucking great, because you're making up your own thing. That's what you're supposed to do as a director and writer. And he does his own little thing to kind of put spin and give more meaning to becoming your own person as Superman, becoming, we always hear the with great power comes great responsibility from Spider-Man. But this is like showing, like, okay, you can choose your own path. You could be born to do something bad, but you can choose your own path to do good. And that's why I think kind of the message of this story is about building yourself and becoming, choosing your own way to do things correctly, while having all these, things undertoning that are happening in the real world around you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the major flaws in the 1978 version is that there isn't really a character arc for Superman. Superman is Superman all the time. Like, he's Clark Kent. Like, you get to see him doing his thing, but it's really all act one, right? Like, you just get to find out about Superman, and then the movie's over. Like, you get to see all the things Superman can do, and then the movie's over. He's not really growing or changing or anything. There's no character arc. So in the James Gunn movie, you have Superman holding on to Krypton, holding on to the memory of his parents and all this stuff. And then when he finds out that they didn't have the best intentions, and then he he listens to his Earth father, and he's like, "Oh, okay. Just because I'm from another planet doesn't mean I'm that person that they wanted me to be," kind of thing. And at the end, he gives the whole monologue to Luther about him being human and about all the things that make him human, even if he is Kryptonian.
Yeah, they try to push a little bit of that in the original when he's walking with his dad when he wants to beat up that guy who threw all the football things on the floor, the
Yeah.
uniforms. I want to bring this back though for the original Superman with that particular actor. What's it? Jeff East. Man, Jeff East. I remember from Pumpkinhead. He had like lead role in there, which is fine. But man, him and you had to pick a better. He was cast horribly. You had to pick a better actor to be an older Christopher Reeve, because Christopher Reeve is like a good-looking dude. Jeff East and him are like oil and vinegar the way they look. You know what I mean? Like, oil and water. They don't mix, and I'm just like, oh man, it's they look weird. It just didn't, to me. It just didn't like. He just looked too weird as a young guy to become what he became.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they had a lot less to work with back then. He clearly looked like he was wearing some sort of a wig.
God, yeah, it was. And I mean, even Marlon Brando's, he looked like he was wearing aluminum foil. When they were in Krypton.
Yep. I kind of like that. I didn't bump up against that. I was like, sure, it's another planet that's different.
It made me laugh though. It was like aluminum foil. That's what it looked like.
Yeah. No. The issues with I did find some more issues in the 25 this time around that I had never really noticed before. But also the 78 is always had issues. It was just this great movie when I was a kid, but it was, I don't know, some of it is just goofy, and one we have to talk about this, and it's on my list here. What do you prefer, the love flight or the love fight? So Superman goes on a date with Lois Lane, and you remember this whole date is like, she asks him what color underwear he's wearing. It's all exposition. It's all this like, oh, I can't see through lead, all this
Pink.
stuff. Yeah. And then they go on this insanely long, boring, ridiculous flight through the night where he's holding her by the hand and they're flying, and she's doing this inner monologue set to music. Does he know that I love him? Can he read my mind? Like all this stuff. And then you contrast that to Lois Lane in the 25 movie comes home and Clark is making her dinner. And then they get into she kind of gives him a hard time about interviewing Superman. So he says he'll interview her. And then they have this whole back and forth with her interviewing Superman. And then they get in an argument and they have this fight. And I thought it was really interesting to put those two things against each other, because they're the first two instances that you find out that these two people are going to be in love, right? For this movie. I loved the 25 version. I loved that argument. I loved the way that they went back and forth at each other, and that they were just sort of struggling over what their relationship was going to be. Like, that was great. And as you could tell, I've always hated the 78 love scene.
Well, the 2025 version is better. Even the fact she tells Mr. Terrific she was going to break up with him, which I thought was, that little line there was hilarious. The way he just looks at her like he doesn't give a shit.
Mr. Terrific is clearly like part autistic or whatever. Like, he's just like, I don't.
Yeah, he tells her, I don't
emotions.
care. Yeah, I don't care about emotions. Your emotions anyway. But it's like a little misogynistic, the 1970s version, because all the girl gushes all over him.
Oh
when
God, yeah, that's
This one kind of stands out. Even I will give, like, even the more modern Supermans kind of have. She's not just a damsel in distress. Even the Amy Adams character, hers was not just a damsel in distress. I do like that aspect of it, that you give being a bit more realistic, because that's not how women are in real life. Maybe at least in my lifetime, they're not damsels in distress. There are women who can be, but not in this aspect.
and I think the 25 movie really benefited for this relationship that we jump in the middle of it, because they're already together, and we can just in our brains make up how that happened, right? The 1978 Clark shows up, and then he's like a little puppy dog, just chasing Lois around constantly. And then as Superman, like, also sort of like just in a different way. It was like the Nutty Professor, it was like he took his serum, and then he was like the cool guy when he was Superman, and then he was the nerdy guy when he was Clark Kent. But like none of it felt genuine. She didn't seem to like him as Clark Kent that much, other than just like a person she worked with. And then as Superman, she liked him like way too much. And then in the 25, you actually got a woman who liked both Superman and Clark Kent, understood who they were, understood who she was, and was able to, it felt like they had a real relationship. And James Gunn was able to jump over all that beginning stuff by just not even telling us about it. Just be like, yeah, they're already dating. Yeah. So I don't know. I thought it was, oddly, it's one of my favorite moments, is both that argument, and then later when Clark is like feeling all dejected, and she like brings him some hot cocoa, and they're talking about whether, she's like, I'm punk rock and you're nice. He's like, I'm punk rock. And she makes fun of him. And the whole time the Justice Gang is out the window, like fighting this like monster.
He's like, oh, it's just an imp.
Yeah. I love that. That was such a good, that part of the movie really did a lot for me. Like I said, I never watch movies multiple times. Like that's just not something that I do. I've seen Superman 8 million times, and I will still watch that there's got to be a reason behind it for me. And usually it's like all the movies I watched when I was a kid, I'll watch those now. And so I'm rewatching, but new movies, I generally don't rewatch. In 1 year, I have seen Superman 4 times. And I'm the one that told you, let's do this. Let's do this movie. And you agreed to it. And you say you just watched it. So you've seen it once.
Yeah.
I texted you when I saw it last year, and I said, you need to go see this movie. And I was like, you need to take your son to it, because I knew you guys were going to go see Fantastic Four. It was right around the same time. And I personally, Fantastic Four failed to me. Like, it was a generically okay movie, nothing special, while like Superman was an amazing movie to me. I don't know. What do you think? Because that was the movie you went to instead of this one.
So the reason I did was because my son was really into Fantastic Four. Nothing to do with the he did see this film though on HBO when it came out. So he really likes this film. Yeah. So I actually was rewatching this today in the morning just to freshen up, because I watched the 78 version and I was rewatching some of it in the morning. When he woke up, he came downstairs and he saw me watching it, and he was watching it with me again. So he really enjoys it. Yeah, I should have seen this film sooner. But also I had like a backlog of like 150 films Tony has told me to watch that I have to get to too.
Right. Oh, well, I mean, there's so many movies out
But,
there, and you do 2 different movie podcasts, so it's like,
yeah, but I should have watched it sooner. I really enjoyed it. I wish I would have saw it in the big screen. Which I'll probably go see the second one in the big screen. I don't know about Supergirl because I asked my son if he wants to go see. He hasn't said. He's kind of iffy on he wants to go see it, but
Supergirl is going to be a tough one. I think. I don't know if I'm into where they're going with her character. I thought they introduced her badly in Superman. She showed up at the end, and apparently she was drunk, but she was on Earth, and he's like, and then he had to like, oh, this is another thing I wrote in my notes. The Fortress of Solitude, right? 1978 Fortress of Solitude. He's the only one that's ever there, and he's watching his videos, right?
Yeah.
In 2025, Luther's able to find it, able to get in. There are robots in there. There are all sorts of stuff. So it's not the Fortress of Solitude, really, because people seem to find their way to it somehow.
Well, he does explain how Luther, because remember he said Luther took a strand of his hair.
Right. No, I get that. Like Luther was purposefully trying to find him and was able to get in. I guess my point was, I felt like in that movie, it should have been called the Fortress of Exposition, because every time they were in the Fortress of Solitude, they were just telling us stuff. Like the robot was telling us about the parents and the backstory and what he likes and all this stuff. And then when Luther shows up, like he basically tells you everything he's about to do. Like it's really funny to me how much exposition happens in the Fortress of Solitude in that movie.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. Also, like, how does Supergirl come to Earth? Like, meaning, I don't know. Do you know the whole origin behind that? Like, I thought Kal-El was like the only ones that was sent there. Was she just randomly sent to?
In the comics, the idea was that they had sent her before him.
Mm-hmm.
She's actually older than him, and she was sent to Earth to watch over him. Her ship got lost in space, and so he landed, grew up, and then she showed up. So she's younger than him. It's like that's like the generically canon story of how she showed up, but she's his cousin, and she, so like Jor-El's like brother or
cousin, kind of cutting out a little bit.
Whatever.
You got
Yeah, so it was like Jor-El's brother-in-law that sent her. So she's like his cousin. She showed up later. It's kind of odd.
Yeah,
but she shows up in this movie and she's kind of drunk, and he does the whole exposition. She goes to other planets with red suns so that she can get drunk. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, it was odd. It was kind of funny. The only good part was that you find out that Crypto is her dog, which then makes you like, oh, well, that's where the dog came from. Yeah. And the dog in this movie, I mean, I loved the dog in this movie. It seemed like it was going to be when I was watching commercials and stuff for it, I thought it was going to be kind of hokey.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. I thought the dog was really funny.
Yeah. It was a good addition to the film. I thought it was a very good addition to the film. It looks like Cotton might have frozen again. Oh, he's back. He's back, yo.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know what's going on with our internet. Maybe it's telling us we need to wrap this thing up here quickly. I agree. We're almost to 2 hours. So, last thing, solo Superman all by himself. He's the only metahuman. Like, there's no other superheroes. Versus the new one, there's lots of supervillains, metahumans. There's the Justice Gang. I thought the Justice Gang was great. I never knew much about Mr. Terrific at all, but they made him awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I like the more metahumans, but I know why they did the solo Superman in the original. It was just basically to kind of set him, like, give him an introduction to new fans. Same thing they did with the Batman, which is the Joker, and then they did the Penguin, and they introduced Catwoman as well in there.
Yeah.
So they're just giving him a little taste of what it is.
Yeah. I guess the big thing was, like, did you kind of prefer that? Do you like a movie that focuses a little more just on the one character, or?
Well, I think if it's done correctly, go focus on multiple characters, like the 2025 Superman. You had Lex Luthor, and then you had, the Justice Gang that was out there, and you had not just that, you had the little monster that they killed. On top, then you had NoHo Hank.
Yeah, Metamorpho.
Yeah, I call him NoHo Hank from Barry.
Right,
but
exactly.
He becomes a member of the Justice Gang, but that was all done very, very well, because even though it was a side story, it still gave, oomph to the bigger story picture. It was all fleshed out very well. And in the world of comics, there are so many damn characters and powers, and you have to kind of do that in these films now. So it was and he kind of gave them equal enough timing to develop them, but not spend too much time on them, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, he did a really good job bringing in the other characters, because he didn't give them any backstory. He just put them in there and said, you figure it out. And there was enough in there that you learned, like, oh, it's Hawk Girl and it's Mr. Terrific, and you don't know anything about them, but then you find out sort of their powers. He used the Green Lantern, which people are maybe a little more familiar with, but they used the Guy Gardner version, which is notoriously the biggest asshole version, which I thought was good. And at the end, when he's fighting, like, there's these hands popping out of the sand, knocking over tanks that were like middle fingers flipping things off. I thought that was good.
Oh, it's like when they're like, you should join the Justice Gang. And he's like, wait, we don't give this any, invitations to just anybody. And he's like, Justice Gang, that's a cool name. He's like, you're in.
Yeah. It was funny. I will say, I think the original 1978 was also funny. But it was 1978 funny. I think if you were alive and going to the movie in 1978, I think you found it just as funny as we found the 2025 version.
Well, one thing I think lacked in the 78 film was Luthor has all this money, and it's just him, Otis, and Tessmacher working together. While in the newer film, he has all this whole army and, the Bavarian president, and he has all this money showing. But in the 78 version, it's like they're doing their own schemes, which is kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, and I will say the 1978 Lex Luthor lair is better. The old train station underneath Metropolis, I think that is just a great set. I loved all the stuff they were doing in there. I like that one better than the 25. But also, I mean, we haven't really talked about it. Like, Lex Luthor figures out this pocket universe, and he has all these portals so that people can go in and out. But then in the end, he creates an earthquake, yet another callback to the 78 movie with the earthquake. And I don't know, but it was done better. There were certain things within that earthquake that weren't, but it's all like little minor things, I guess. So
yeah.
All right, I think we're ready to come up with a
Act 3,
a decision on this thing.
Chow dear, it's chowder. Say it right.
Chowder.
So,
all right,
Cotton, give us the rundown for the how we name this stuff.
So the judges' scorecard, we are looking at the original, just saying whether we liked it or not. But the remake. Is it a remake? They just remade the original. It was basically the same movie. A reboot, which would mean it's actually really good and should get sequels. A rename, which means that the movie had nothing to do with the original and they really should just rename it. Or rethink all your plans. You shouldn't have done this in any way. Those are our categories. What did you think?
I would say, I don't know if any of these actually contribute to it because it's a reboot, but it's not really a reboot. It's more of a sequel to a reboot. I guess reboot would be probably the closest thing. But
kind of a requel.
Yeah, a requel, like a reboot sequel, basically.
Yeah.
But a good one, unlike when they did with fucking Halloween Ends and all that shit.
Oh, yeah. But by the way, God, who was it? Somebody, one of the women, I think, was in Halloween 2, the new Halloween 2, from 2009. Who was it? I think it was Margot Kidder.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, Margot Kidder was in Halloween 2, the 2009 version.
But that's the Rob Zombie one, though.
Yeah, which is amazing that she was in that movie. Yeah, I think it's reboot. Like this should have more movies made off of it. I thought it was really well done. And yeah, it is a little bit weird because they remade it in a lot of ways, right? There was an earthquake. There was the real estate scam. There was the Miss Tessmacher and Otis and like all these things, but they were just done slightly different. And once it was all put together, it did almost seem, because I watched 78 and then 25, it seemed like it could have worked as a sequel. Now, if it was an actual sequel, it would be weird that Lex Luthor was already out of prison and, doing this stuff already. So it can't be a real sequel, but
yeah. This one, he still, has good public fare. Michael Ian Black interviews him, which is another horrible actor.
Yeah. But then, and they introduce a lot of like cool things, like the Justice Gang is funded by the Lord Company. And that is the bad guy from Wonder Woman. And so obviously something's going to come of that later. The fact that the Justice Gang is being funded by the Lord Co. or Lord Corp or whatever, but it's just like Luthor Corp, where they are bad guys. And so they don't know they're being funded by bad guys. So that'll be an interesting when they decide to wrap that thing up and figure it out.
Yeah, and Gal Gadot would not be coming back as Wonder Woman.
And that's good. I don't really like her as an actress anyway. So I will be happy to see who they
I liked her.
Anybody that they choose.
And then I didn't like her.
Yeah. I've never thought she was very good at it. Like I
thought she was attractive. That's about it.
Yeah. But okay. So I think it's reboot. I think they need to make more movies. They are making more movies. I loved this movie. Amazingly, I've seen it a bunch of times already. That's something I'd never do. And when I choose a winner here, it's like, do I go to the 1978 that I've seen like almost 200 times? And I watched it this week and really enjoyed it. I really did. Like I had such a good time sitting there watching that movie. The only thing I didn't like about it on this viewing is something that just can't be helped. And that's just 1978 graphics, right? That's the only thing. Everything else was enjoyable. Now, if I was thinking about somebody who's never seen that movie and they're going into it with 2026 eyes, I don't know that they would like it. I don't know if the plot and some of the goofier stuff, I don't know that it holds up.
I think for me, I would have to go with the newer one, and the reason being is it doesn't have that stupid flying scene. That's
Agreed.
the only bad thing about the original that I really just was like, come on.
Yeah,
And the opening credits, but that's just because the credits are just long. But it's fact about the flying scene, I thought that was like so corny. I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah. No, so I think we're agreed. I mean, I think this new one, the 2025, it's the movie. If I had to choose one, that's the movie I would say, no, let me watch that one again. I think it's the better movie. I think there's more going on. It's a deeper, more complex movie. A lot of stuff we didn't even get into. Like, there's so much more to this movie than what we talked about, because honestly, we just didn't have enough time, really, which is crazy for a 2-hour podcast. Like, it's just a really good movie. James Gunn was great directing it. Everybody did an amazing job. So yeah, I can't wait for 27 when the next, Man of Tomorrow is the next one that's coming out.
Yeah. And again, this is, we didn't even go into the political aspect of it, which could have been like another 2 hours.
Right.
So it's just a lot of good things for it.
Yeah. There were yeah. I mean, that movie, like, I think we could probably fill about 10 hours just talking about all the different things that we could talk about with that movie. It's so good and it's so deep, and there's just so many different little things to it, which is why I've been able to watch it 4 times, and I'll watch it again, because each time you watch it, there are more things to pick out or more things to recognize and enjoy. So, all right. So the reboot won again.
Yep.
So interesting, especially with you, because, man, I know you were coming into this. You're just like, I'm never going to choose a reboot.
Yeah.
But right now, let me look at this. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 remakes that I've chosen, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 originals I've chosen. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a half, because you bailed on one of these and just said, they're equal. I think The Fly maybe was the one that you did that on.
Oh, I don't know which one I did.
Yeah.
Maybe it was The Fly. I really enjoyed both of them.
But you've got 5.5 there, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4.5 on the original. So you're actually in the boat for the remakes.
I
so
got
far.
Turn around my personality here and start going back to hating stuff.
Back to hating stuff. That's awesome. All right. Well, this was fun. I thoroughly enjoyed rewatching both of these movies. I think everybody should go out and see the 25 movie if you haven't seen it. And the 78 movie is it. If you've never seen it, just understand it's a 50-year-old movie, and it's not going to give you the things that you want, but I really enjoy that. I still think it's a good movie. I think a lot of it holds up, if not all of it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Couldn't say more.
Yep. Cool. All right. Well, until the next time we do this, after we schedule it 4 or 5 times, we'll be back.
Maybe it won't be 4 or 5 times. Maybe it'll be one time.
Yeah. No, I can't wait till the next time. We'll pick 2 more movies that are technically the same and talk about how they're different.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Take it easy.
All right, take it easy, guys.